as black men, I don't think we're vulnerable enough. You know what I'm saying? Based off of our own insecurities, based off of the past, or like, how we was told to be strong and all of those things. You can feel like being vulnerable, or admitting that you don't know something. You know what I'm saying? Or admitting that you may not have the answers, or you may be lost and you may need direction. It take a lot of courage, and it makes you more powerful to accept those
Hiding
things.
the pain. Nowadays, shit ain't the same. I just charge the shit to the game. I just charge the shit to the game. I'ma charge the shit to the game we play. I lost them. I think about it all the time. Was it worth what it cost it? Was it worth when you bought it? Did it hurt when you lost it? Did it irk all your bosses? Feelings lurk in your office. It happens. Sometimes you standing on necks, and then sometimes you lacking. Sometimes you riding the bench, and then sometimes you captain.
What it do, man? It's your boy Marquise Boss, man. We back with another one. I said another one, DJ Khaled, man. This right here, man. This a different episode, man. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If this your first time watching, you gonna want to come back after this one. You know what I'm saying? This is a moment in history right here. We making history. It's an amazing one right here, man. Keon, how you feeling about this episode, man?
So I'm feeling great. I just feel the energy.
Yes, sir.
Just feeling the energy in the room, dog. Got me feeling great.
Man, that's amazing, man. But yeah, like I said, man, God really, he really blessed us with this one. God really blessed us with this brother right here. A couple years ago, man, he's been a big brother to us, a mentor, a family member, an uncle, therapist, a psychologist, all of that in one, man. A man of many talents. This brother right here has been a monumental in our life, and we want to introduce our big brother, Ron. Let's give it up for him, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes, sir.
appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yes,
It's an honor
sir.
For me, I appreciate that.
Tell everybody, man, with this being your first time, is this your first time ever on the podcast?
This is my first time ever on a pod, man, and this
Oh,
is everything, man.
man, that's-
Especially being here with the new kings of the pod. Man.
Yeah.
Give it up for yourself.
Yes, sir.
God
Appreciate
damn.
it, dog.
Appreciate that,
Yeah, man. This is an honor for me. Man.
Yes, sir, man. How you feeling, man, with this being your first interview and guest appearance on somebody's podcast? How I feel?
It's an honor, bro. Being able to see y'all do your thing and being able to be a part of what your blessing is everything to me.
That's beautiful, man. But yeah, y'all, like, just to give y'all a little background, man. Keon, tell everybody why we chose Ron, man, because I know we done had this planned out for a minute, but
Man, we
been a long
chose
time
Ron
coming.
because we was thinking what's gonna be the biggest hit right off the back. Man, just the energy from this guy. And y'all gonna see in a minute, though. He acting all shy right now.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
Man,
that.
just the energy and the positivity that he have always gave us. He's a big part of our lives. So we was shit, Ron, right off top.
yeah, man, and like I said, man, it's a beautiful thing, man. That's why we had to do it like this, because this is a moment in history for us, literally. And we just want to say we love you, bro, for real, man, because this is gonna do a lot for our careers in podcasting. You know what I mean? Having somebody like you is gonna be able to show our audience that we not just young. You know what I'm saying? That we more than our age, we more mature, and we actually can connect and talk to all kinds of people, bro. So we thank you for coming on, man. And we looking forward to it, man. So no further ado, we're gonna jump right into it, man. The first thing, it's a part of our format that we want to do for all our guests is, number one, do a mental health check-in. As of right now, 2023 Saturday, how are you? How is your mental health right now?
I feel great, bro. I think the most important part about the space that I'm in right now is that at some point I kind of realized that I wasn't okay. You know what I'm saying? Not even to go too deep into it, I just wanted to kind of invest a little more time in myself. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of stepped back a little bit from social media. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thought things through for myself, kind of thought about what I wanted to do for myself long term, how I wanted to feel, where I wanted to be. And that's an important thing because I don't think that we think too much on that. You know what I'm saying? So, I just kind of stepped back a little bit and kind of dove into, self-care and working out and, stuff like that. And I feel good, bro. It was a damn good decision for myself.
That's why Keon be.
Because it's important. You know what I'm
It
saying?
is. They just don't realize it.
Yeah. I think it's black people too. You know what I'm saying? We really don't understand self-care, kind of play a part in everything we do. In my opinion, it's one of the biggest parts of mental health. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could honestly say my routine for self-care actually saved my life. You know what I'm saying? Not to even go too deep into it, but it's been like re-energizing for me. You know what I'm saying? Working out every day, and you know what I'm saying? Like really kind of tapping into like the full potential of me being everything, bro. So I can honestly say it's everything to say that I'm good right now,
Right, man. That's a beauty, man, because that's one of the things too. Like you've been chopping it up with us off camera for years. You know what I'm saying, about your life. You know what I'm saying. That's why we was like, bro, people don't know this, but we did like probably 20 episodes before this.
It's
You
been
know
a
what
lot
I'm
of
saying?
conversations.
Yeah, and your crib was the original podcast studio. You know what I'm
Came
saying?
to play 2K, but got a whole therapy session.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Whole therapy, like
For
the
sure.
game done with.
Yeah.
Controller over there, we just talking to each other, just chopping it up.
man.
So.
And it's a blessing too. I want to say this too. It's a blessing too to be able to speak and then people actually understand what you mean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or have the patience to even hear you out for your full thoughts and like, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people kind of get to know you surface level, you know what I'm saying? And they don't really get a chance or even give the time to like actually figure out who you are. It's a blessing to be able to talk to y'all and even be able to get y'all to understand y'all on the same level. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all being able to understand and like, being able to communicate y'all thoughts and me being able to tell y'all what I'm thinking. And we dialogue and have these good conversations. It was like a podcast every time we talk, you know what I'm saying? To be able to see this, like it's everything, man.
Man, we appreciate it, man. And like Keon said, we used to have them crazy 2K battles.
Man.
I'm the
We know who got the
leader.
best of that.
I don't know who's the lead.
We know who got the best.
I'm the leader, by the way.
We don't have to-
We're going to put the
No.
stats
Leader.
on the screen. We just
I
gonna
think
give
I
a
have
few
the least
seconds
amount
for
of
it.
losses. That's just so crazy. I don't
See,
think
Pride
I
is the
got
Devil
any.
was episode 3, so I tried to. We talked about how to let that go.
I
You
wish
know,
I
it's
was here
okay.
for that one.
Man.
I wish I was here for the pride talk.
Yeah, man. We already know we gonna tap in, man. That's what it's all about, man.
I still got the paper on the wall, right?
Oh yeah, y'all.
Man, who ain't got no L's?
I got the stats
that's
on the
okay.
wall.
Who ain't got no L's?
I got the most wins though. Can
Numbers
we all
don't lie.
I ain't played
tell
that
them,
many.
Ron? Tell them how I got the most wins. Okay, hold on. We gonna do this since we in front of the camera.
Okay, got a
We
little,
finally
you
in
know,
front of the
man,
camera.
you know,
All
we'll pull it back a little bit.
It's all documented, But just before we transition, who's the best 2K opponent? Before we transition,
What's crazy is, man, I got to get that to my boy Relio, man. Like I can't, out of respect for the history of, you know what I'm saying, our actual rivalry. Shout out to my boy Rel. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother. You know what I'm saying? I got to get
I
that
thought
to
he was
my brother.
okay.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
I like
it.
No,
That was good.
No disrespect to the young kings
Politics.
of the pod, you know what I'm saying? But I got to shout out the OG, man. That's
in this early.
Yeah. So thank y'all for joining the episode. That's it for today. He messed it up.
listen.
So when you do that, you can go home.
They some great rivals, though.
Yeah.
These guys are really good at what they do.
Yeah,
you know what
man.
I'm
Because
saying?
if Rail is 1, 2 and 3, that make a lot of
Listen.
sense. So
Why
it's
Why
a
you say 2 and 3?
amen.
Why you just do that?
Oh man, but yeah, Keon, man, go ahead, transition us, man. Let's get right into the get into it.
Spoken to going to the gym every day. I feel like how important is that within being a man? Your physical health, your mental health, cooking, eating, working out, all that.
For me personally, it's kind of weird because at some point I kind of realized like that was one of the things that I kind of relied on. It became such a consistent thing for me. It became like sometimes it kind of almost felt like one of the most important things. You know what I'm saying? Like my self-care for myself was even when everybody else leave your situation, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of what the relationship is, when you're there by yourself, those habits that you develop for yourself, they become important because in tough times, it's what you rely on. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of, it became the most important thing for me because that's what I was relying on to get me out of a funk or shit. When I wasn't even feeling, like getting up out the bed or days when I felt at my best, I kept that same routine and it became like one of the most important regimens for myself.
And the fitness part of it is the how big is the fitness part of like actually encouraging yourself to go to the gym? Because like we talked about before, you've been one of our biggest motivations for putting on actual muscle. You know what I'm saying? It's not a sponsorship, but been our unofficial trainer. But yeah, how important is that part of it?
I think people kind of forget that when you look good and you feel good, that kind of play into everything. So. I mean, when you get compliments, about your muscles or how your body changing or, you know it yourself, but it's everything when somebody else tell you. You know what I'm saying? And that become your motivation to kind of keep going and keep being more consistent, you know, in that way. So yeah, fitness is everything.
Taking care of yourself over these years, what has been the biggest thing you pride yourself on when it comes to maintaining your just your whole well-being?
Probably the self-care portion of it, because that's kind of like what I rely on the most. I
What
haven't.
ways of self-care?
Um, I would say for me, the most important part of self-care was kind of like the gym. So I kind of started like my own routine of like going to the gym, and then I'll come back from the gym, and then I'll do like a self-care routine, and you know, a couple other things. But it all kind of started from the gym. You know what I'm saying? It kind of took for me to kind of see myself changing. It was things that I seen that I kind of really wasn't kind of feeling. I think you know, one of the most important things is being honest with yourself, right? So everything that you see in your life, you can actually change. If your stomach too big, you can get rid of that motherfucker. You work hard enough. You know what I'm saying? If your arm's not big enough, or like your body not exactly how you want it to be, the best thing about it is that you can change all of those things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's for me to I kind of looked in the mirror and I'm like, okay, well, yeah, it's straight, and everybody, I'm eating off of it. I've been good. Everybody been accepting it all of this time, but I done scrolled on Instagram and I seen these motherfuckers like really like, you know what I'm saying? And I want a piece of that. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it was just like going the physical route and changing how I eat, and like, you know, all of those things kind of played a major part in it.
Probably one of the biggest pieces of game you've given us is the importance of traveling.
Oh, for sure.
You always been like, man, you know, you always be like, you know,
Get
man,
some
I'm gonna
air.
work hard, but I'm gonna enjoy myself.
Get
you know
some
what I mean?
air for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? So tell us about that importance, like, of traveling the world, getting outside of the four walls of the city that we live in. How important is that to see the world as a man?
I look at it as being another big part of self-care, right? And to be completely honest, if I'm doing it now in my early 30s, right? If I could go back to my 21s, you know what I'm saying, my early 20s, and get my passport and do it that way, I feel like it's so big, I would be a different person. You know what I'm saying? Being able to see how other people live and what the energy is and how you're accepted, and you know what I'm saying? Like getting that vibe from a different place. I think a lot of times, mainly with our people, we kind of get tied up in and kind of our environment that we grew up in. You know what I'm saying? What we've been used to all of this time. Right. And we don't think outside of the box. You don't think like, hey, you know, I might be living in the hood and this is what I see every day. But if I go overseas, their version of it can be completely different, and I can learn something from that too. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it kind of, when I first got my passport, it was everything. And I started thinking like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm kind of getting it, you know, in my early 30s, but you know, the importance of being able to go out there. You know, I just went to London last year in November. It was an experience that, you know, you can't pay for something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's damn near like life changing, because that the air is different, the people is different, the music and the vibe is like, you know what I'm saying? So again, it was a major part of self-care too. You know?
Man.
So what's your favorite place you've been to?
Shit.
Or top three.
Oh,
Hey, think about how
that's
casually.
better. That's a lot better than
Think
saying,
about how casually he said, you know, I went to London, and you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying. London is actually not in the United States. You know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to put that out there. You know,
But
he
this
don't
the
just
thing,
do average
though.
trips.
Yeah, man, but this the thing though. I don't want to say it in a way to where anybody kind of feel in any way that it's not obtainable to them. This is something that everybody can do. You can plan this out and you can make it happen for yourself if it's something that you want to do. Now, for me, I grew up watching the Discovery Channel and the Travel Channel, all of that. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite shows is Fuck That's Delicious on Vice City. And, you know, just being able to see how people like vibe in different places, you know, kind of made me want to kind of experience those things for myself. It's an excitement. You know what I'm saying? So I look at London like, well, shit, it's there and I can go to it. It's obtainable to me. You know what I'm saying? You open up that map, you can see whatever it is, you know, you want to see or have, whatever experiences you want to have. You know what I'm saying? All of this is obtainable to ourselves, you know? And you have to feel like that. Sometimes you have to see somebody else do it. You know what I'm saying? For you to be able to see like this is available to me also. You know what I'm saying?
See that it's possible.
So yeah, man. So, you know, I went out there and like I had a great experience, man. And for me, like traveling and being able to, go out and experience different things is another big part of self-care.
So you said you went to all these places alone. Can I get a relationship status? What's going on?
I'm single right now, by choice. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think it was important for me to kind of work on myself and kind of figure some things out. I think like a lot of us, we kind of forget to take the time that we need to kind of heal from things and really kind of figure ourselves out, and because of that, we look at and we look to other people to be our happiness, you know what I'm saying? And then when they fall short of making us happy, we get disappointed with them or cast them away, or, you know what I'm saying? But really that job fall on you first. If I'm not happy when you meet me, it ain't shit you can do that's gonna make me happy. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, it's for me to kind of find my own personal happiness. It's for me to work through my flaws and for me to kind of understand things. And that's kind of where I've been at. And I've been kind of selfish with that space too. So I haven't been heavily dating at this point because in my journey of me finding myself, I kind of don't want to be interrupted. You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
Is there something that made you this way? Like, was there a past relationship that made you more vulnerable? Or what opened your eyes to really working on yourself before doing a relationship thing? Or have you ever been in a relationship?
I done been in a couple.
Okay.
But even for me to say, I've been in a couple relationships and I'm single right now, that lets you know that shit ain't work out, right?
Yeah.
So I would say in my previous situation, I was kind of talking to somebody off and on for a couple months. And I was having a good time. And I kind of started noticing that I'm going out to have a good time. And then every time I come back, I'm getting hit with reality. You know what I'm saying? And it was almost like, you know how like you'll leave your crib and you'll go to a nice place to stay. You'll get a nice Airbnb, you chilling. And that's cool. But then you come back to your shit and you be like, I got unfinished business. I kept going. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I use the analogy that I was going to stay somewhere nice, but I was coming back to my own crib, and it was things that I hadn't did, it was things that I hadn't fixed. I was coming back to a dirty crib, you know what I'm saying? And I kept doing that until after we kind of stopped talking. And then it was just like, I'm here noticing everything I didn't do in the time that I was distracted. You know what I'm saying? I would say distraction in the sense that I was giving my energy toward progressing with somebody else versus the fine balance of me fixing my own shit and progressing my own goals and my own visions for myself, my own direction in my journey, and then being able to give the leftover time, you know what I'm saying, to them. I was giving the bulk of that trying to work something out or manifest something that I thought was important to me. And then once that was no longer there, then it's just like, shit, I got nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Again, I'm sitting in this dirty house longer, and I realize it's a lot of shit that I didn't clean up. You get what I'm saying? And when I kind of realized that, it was just like, okay, it's time for you to sit back and heal. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's time for you to really kind of give yourself the energy that you need to look into some of the things that's important to you. Some of the stuff you wasn't giving the necessary attention to because you was devoting your time to something else. So,
that's deep, bro. And I feel like I love that analogy that you did. It said you felt like you came back to a dirty home. And I feel like a lot of times that's what a lot of people fail on in relationships is that they try to, like they say, the wrong thing that we try to do is we try to go in with 50% of our stuff and help somebody else with 50%. But the real key of relationships is you got to have 100% of yourself together in order to get with 100% of them. Now, I'm not saying that you got to have all of the, money in the world and all of the status and
but just be right, though. Have yourself right, though.
Yeah. But just have that idea of where you want to be at.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people go into relationships and don't even know who they are.
For
what
sure.
they like.
For sure.
What makes them have fun outside of, doing the same old things,
And I feel like the worst thing you can do is kind of find yourself in the midst of dealing with somebody else, right? Because when you do that, it's always going to be tied to that person. It gives them so much power that if at any point they separate from you, you feel like you have nothing. You know what I'm saying? So then you got to repeat the process in that alone time when you by yourself of figuring out who you are. You know what I'm saying? And that shit can be tough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's best to take that time to work on yourself. And then too, like, that even that in itself is a tough thing because you have people who, they see what type of person you are and they want to be a part of your life, right? You know what I'm saying? But you have to kind of set up those healthy boundaries to make sure that, I have enough time to deal with what I have to deal with. You always going to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not here, it wasn't meant to be, but I'll connect with you when I finish what I have to finish on my journey.
And that's important, man, because I feel like a lot of people skip that part of it or they get too caught up in the other person. You know what I mean? And that's why I wanted to, I even watched a sermon on that years ago from Pastor Michael Todd, and he did a relationship series, and one of them was talking about before the person. And one of the things that I learned, and that's one of the biggest tips that I like to give people whenever people come to me about how to get right in life or, get your mind right for a relationship. I already say you got to build a relationship with two beings before yourself. I believe God and yourself. Because a lot of people do it backwards. They like, all right, let me get with this person. Or people get it mixed up and they'll say, God, if you give me this person, I'm going to lock in with you, God. I'm going to get right. I'm going to get legit. And then you wonder why when that person is now removed, now you done lost your relationship with God.
Think about, based off of what you said, how much power, and how much connection you're tying to that person. You asking God to give you this person. You know what I'm saying?
And then you'll do better in life.
They're that important to you to where you like, I'm praying on this. Connect me with this person. You know what I'm saying? Without even knowing that if you get your own ducks in a row, if you work on yourself, the right person gonna be attracted to you anyways, just based off of who you are, you know what I'm saying, and the work that you did to develop yourself, Man,
I agree, bro, because I feel like that's one of the things I've been struggling with too, man, just relating with you too, being single, you know what I'm saying, that's been the biggest thing that I've been struggling with. Like I told Keon, is just really battling between, do I get in a relationship now or do I continue to work on myself? Because I've had dating experiences in the past, but like you said, if we single, that mean it ain't been working out. But I don't look at it as a as a loss. I look at it as a lesson. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my favorite type of L's. You know what I'm saying? Is lessons, because all of my past dating experiences have showed me how to get ready for when I find that woman that I choose to give myself to 100%. I know that I'm gonna do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? I always pride myself, like I say, being one and done. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to waste nobody's time. And I feel like if I am gonna do that, we can do that in the dating stages. Because a lot of people get in relationships and wait to the last minute to say, oh, well, I'm still kind of working on myself. And then you wonder why. Now you got another broken heart. So it's super powerful, man.
I'll say the thing about me is, like we always talk about being one and done. I feel like I'm one and done right now. The person I am with right now.
Watch out there now. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Shout out to real love. Shout out to black love. Man.
Black love.
When you see it.
Keon showing us the way, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I feel like the person I am with now, I feel like I can marry. Man,
that's crazy.
Don't start making
this boy earning points.
Man,
yeah, that's the
this
thing.
Boy
Like
points.
love.
It's not because we have it all figured out or we have everything we done and accomplished. It's because we know the steps it's going to take to get there.
For sure.
We have them uncomfortable conversations all the time.
It's important.
Like, we have different conversations like goals, stability, financial, careers. We have all types of them conversations, and like we know what we need to do.
For sure.
And like even when we piss each other off, we ask, why did I make you mad? Why did you make me mad? Mm-hmm. How you feel? How we have them conversations just to see that in another partner. I know I can marry.
Man, I just want to take some time to stop and talk about it. Let's give a shout out to it. Keon, okay, let me ask you this: do you feel comfortable? We don't got to say her name, but do you feel comfortable saying her name? I like shouting her out.
Yeah. I feel like she deserves it.
Yeah, shout out to Daviana.
Yes, sir.
Daviana. Yeah,
yes, sir.
I feel like
shout out
talk
to
about her
Daviana.
and brag on her too.
I feel like Lil Durk. She is a realtor. So if y'all want to follow her page,
yes,
sir. I'm gonna put a link.
Hold on. But the difference is, y'all don't put the world in y'all business still. So you missed it. Y'all missed it.
Important.
You said Lil Durk. I seen it. That's why I had to drop that in there.
That's important.
Yeah, that's
man.
And
I just
we'll give her link. Follow her on Facebook.
Real estate agent, a brand new real estate agent. Let's give it up for that too.
Yes,
once
sir.
again.
Congratulations.
I'm proud of her.
A great
ups to
queen in the
Davion.
building, man. I just want to say too, bro, I love your relationship, like legit, man. That's one of the things I've always told myself. I prayed to God about this a lot of times too, to where like that's why I love me and your relationship is because you get a chance to show me, even though we got how many months is it age difference? You probably like.
October to August.
Okay, probably like a year sometimes, a year and a half. But yeah, I learned so much from you, bro. Especially like I can say I really admire your relationship and the type of strong connection that you got with your woman. But more importantly, I love how you chose a mature, strong woman at that, and a woman in God too. That's why I love connecting with Daviana because she a woman of God. Because that's one of the things we'll go for the looks, and we'll go, man. If she ain't putting it down in that bedroom, amen. You know what I'm saying? That she ain't gonna be the one. But we skip all of them other things. But you never search and find a woman who's a woman in God. So I love that, bro. And you super inspirational to my life, bro. And being so close with you reminds me that it is possible. Like kind of like what you said, you got to see it, and sometimes you got to see it in somebody else doing it to show that, man. Okay, man, it ain't too late for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And that means a lot to hear that from you because you didn't see me go through them all.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been Keon therapist
It's
for
always
years.
trial and
Man.
error.
Man,
It's always trial and error.
relationship, situational shit, Keith didn't see me go through
Yeah, he be
it
like,
all.
yeah, man, I gotta, because we live like 1 minute from each other. He be like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
finna pull up, bro. I gotta, man, she got me.
It made me a little embarrassed, but we was singing Mariah Carey, bro.
Man.
I'm hurt.
I used to think that I wasn't fine enough. You know what I'm
Hey.
saying? But yeah, so that's what I told Keon, man. I said, that was one of the things I always motivated him to do is like, hey, you can obviously tell if it's not her. But the fact that you said, I feel like I'm one and done, and you said that on your own, you know what I'm saying? To have that type of confidence, that's what I desire.
It's a tough decision too, man. That's because realistically, you young as fuck though. You know what I'm saying? So for you to be like, this is the person that I want to spend. Human expectation or expectancy, age wise, is what 65 years.
Yeah.
You're in your early 20s. You know what I'm saying? So you saying like this person is enough for me to last the extent of my life through trials and tribulations, through my highs and my lows. That person has to be really, really, really important to you, bro. That's a big thing, and I respect you for that. I also respect the fact that you have this perspective of I'm in my one and done phase. I done met the person I want to, spend the rest of my life with, and you're still in your phase of I'm figuring that out. You know what I'm saying? Because both of those are really important, and I think that sometimes people lean more toward your perspective on it. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, okay, well, he found happiness, and I want this for myself. But yours is also important too, because you get the chance to find happiness within yourself.
Facts.
Which is the most important thing. So when you do actually find somebody, who can match you in that energy, y'all can make each other whole, you'll be ready for that moment.
Man, I appreciate that, man, and that's what it's all about, man. It's like that's why we love the balance that we have, is because we're not just giving you a one-sided, we all in love, and if you ain't in love or in a relationship, we got a 50-50 even split, you know what I'm saying, to where we can give people that example, and that's the biggest thing that I've been, struggling with in my life. Like I said, just having looking back at past relationships or past dating experiences I've had, like, man, am I doing something wrong? But I realized that God don't make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? If I wasn't with that person, it's for a reason, and he's building me up to be a better version of myself. You know what I mean? The last time I felt like I realistically could have settled down would have been like 3 years ago when I was 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, and that's the thing God has blessed us to do, is give us that discernment in our spirit to where like they said, when you know. Like you said, you might not have a ring right now, but like you said, in your heart, you could have made this decision right now at the age of 23. That's why you can say that with confidence. So, and I know I'll be the same way too, man. So, and that's another thing too, just to the men out there, if you is single, you know what I'm saying, just take motivation from people like us, man, and just really just use this season not to really mourn or desire a woman, but more so appreciate the fact that you got yourself, because we try to hurry up and be like, man, I can't wait till we'll get ourselves together so we can get with somebody. You know what I'm saying? We'll be like, as opposed to getting yourself together for yourself. Even like you said, I know you use it as an analogy, but what do we do? Let me hurry get my crib together before she walk in.
Listen.
It's the same thing with your spirit and your mind. You'll, soon as you get somebody, dang, now I need to work on my mental health. But God been showing you for years that you need to get your relationship right with your parents and get your relationship right with yourself. Because, and that's why I always encourage people to get right with yourself first before God. And people might think it's a little backwards, but I always encourage people to get themselves right build a relationship with yourself before God, because you could lie to God all day, but you can be telling yourself the truth.
For sure.
So I like to look at it as like, man, if you could if I can be honest with myself, like, man, you know what, God, I think I am gonna go celibate. If I can say that to me, then I can feel more confident about going to God. But you can reverse it and be like, God, I'm telling you, man, if you just bless me with her, I'm going to go legit. And I ain't going to be putting it down, you know what I'm saying? But then you go back and you living that your lifestyle. Because you didn't agree with yourself. You didn't give yourself your yes. So how can you give God your yes? So I feel like them the biggest 2 steps that you got to focus on. And then you can get ready for the person.
Yeah, I'm able to say that so confidently is because we put in the time and the work. You know, we was dating for 8 months before we got into a relationship. That's crazy, you know.
It is.
Know me, I'm usually not with the same.
It's a rarity. That's a rare thing.
For 8 months before we even got into a relationship. So,
because people rush them nowadays, man. That's the scariest thing that people do. That's why you have a lot of failing relationships. That's why, man, we see that all the time. You talked about that before, that vacation mentality. That's the new thing now. Is like, let me get with this person. Let's hurry up and do it right so we can start taking. Oh man, Christmas coming up. You'll try to get with that person in the same year, super fast, or even a month. So I feel like rushing.
It wasn't just like we got into a relationship and like we're done working. No, we started seeing different issues and resolving them, and kept on going up and up. And that's why, you know, I love her so much, and that's why I say we can get married. Is because she's seen me through my flaws and my weaknesses, and she's willing to work with me as I am with her. So those just the things that just kept getting better and better each and every day. This runs into my next question with both of y'all.
Okay.
What's the hardest thing to be in a relationship with you?
Oh, that's a tough one.
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
No,
Man, listen. I think
hear you talk about this, that, about you. What's the hardest thing about being with Ron?
I would say, like, I'm stubborn as hell, and I think that, yeah, man, I'm a Sag, so you know we kind of stubborn individuals, but I think that having patience, you know what I'm saying, and like loving somebody enough to be patient with them, because I feel like that take a level of like love and energy to want to be that understanding, to give that person grace, or to give that person, you know, patience, you know, to kind of work with them through however you met them or wherever y'all at that time. I think that's the most important thing.
So would you say you've been able to open up or being vulnerable with your past situations that played the part of it not really working out? Or was you open and being vulnerable to your past relationships?
I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I've probably never been 100% vulnerable in any relationship I've ever had in my life.
Gotcha.
Ever. And then even more than that, I would make the argument that for Black men, that's a difficult thing. You know what I'm saying? Because
that's the hardest part.
The projection is you be strong, and you're the man of the house, and you're the pillar of the foundation of everything about the relationship. You're the provider, you're the protector, all of those things. But I think that we don't have enough space. We're not given enough grace to just be human beings and be like, I'm weak at this moment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. And then you have to kind of poke your chest out or pretend that you're strong in moments where you're weak. You can't really express yourself, and be who you naturally are. So I don't even think that we're afforded, whether it's our projection in the media, who influence how people, how females see us, or, regardless of what your relationship is. I think, we're not afforded the ability to be vulnerable in those ways. So I never, I thought it was a weak trait to be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? For me to, like, when I'm sick, or like when I'm sad, or like, we cry, we individuals, you know what I'm saying? We're human. We're emotional. We can't even really say like we're emotional as men without it being a thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's actually a strong thing to actually be vulnerable, because if you think about it, it's actually weak. It kind of does look weak when you holding something in. You like, dang, you don't want to share nothing. You ain't trying to be more open. It's like because you're afraid of losing something that you believe that if you release, you'll lose something, or you'll be lesser than. But really, if you give, sacrificial giving. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we give money or give gifts. If we give vulnerability, that will give somebody else some power. They be like, man, now that you, because all three of us could be sitting here, but as soon as you start saying something, now Keon want to open up, now I want to open up, and you know, because the act of giving is one of the most powerful forces in the world, along with love. That's one of the things I have to learn too. Is like when somebody gives, so man, I'm pouring my heart out, then you start doing it as well. So that's why we created this platform for men to actually come and see other men talk.
That's dope.
Because we realize that it's not a thing that's common, or they don't think it's cool. So we also, that's why we pride ourselves on actually having guests. It's not just me and Keon show, you know what I'm saying? Modern Kings, our name is not in there, you know what I'm saying? Because it's all about men and actually how we need to actually be more open and having these type of conversations. Because we've been doing this for years, but it's like we want to show people, once again, we're giving people the chance to see us vulnerable, like you said, exposing myself, putting it out there.
Listen,
so
because as black men, I don't think we're vulnerable enough. You know what I'm saying? Based off of our own insecurities, based off of the past, or like, how we was told to be strong and all of those things. You know, you can feel like being vulnerable or admitting that you don't know something. You know what I'm saying? Or admitting that you may not have the answers, or, you may be lost and you may need direction. It take a lot of courage, and it makes you more powerful to accept those things. You know what I'm saying? Because it took me a long time to even realize the fact that I was not being vulnerable enough, even with myself. Outside of, relationships that I had with other people. It was I wasn't even accepting like my own personal feelings. I was shutting my own things down because I didn't want to feel weak as a man. You know what I'm saying? The bar for masculinity is set so high by the people that came before us that you don't want to fall under that. You know what I'm saying? Because anything under what the golden standard is for a black male, make you feel like you weak. You know what I'm saying? If you're not like, rough in this way, or you're not athletic in this way, you know what I'm saying? You're perceived to be, or made to be, weak. So in most instances in a black family, there's no room for vulnerability. I can't say like, on this day, I'm scared about this, or I may not have the answer for this, or I want to cry about this, or, I'm unsure of this. And it stripped, important parts of being able to connect with your humanity away from you. You know what I'm saying?
Most recently, I just had to practice, what I preach, probably about 2 weeks ago, I lost a close friend of mine. It was just very devastating because I couldn't let that out, because the close friend, not only was he a friend and a brother to me, but he also worked with me. He knew the guys that we worked with. And at work, I'm seen as a leader, so I couldn't let myself feel at the time. I had to keep pushing for everybody.
Be strong for everybody else.
right when you got the news.
Man, and I was the first one to get one of the first ones to get the news. Like his cousin called me that morning. But I had that morning before going into work, so I had to push through that whole day.
Man.
That's crazy.
And days after, so it was just hard for me to really just keep going and pretend like it wasn't affecting me. So, I had to call the guys up, and just vent, laugh, play the game. And just for something like that just to hit me so hard is just wow. And because he was younger than me, too. Like, this was the first time I had to go to a funeral of someone younger than me.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. So, outside of projecting a level of strength to your peers and your colleagues to kind of keep them, from going over too emotionally, what made you feel like you couldn't in that moment, grieve properly or feel how you needed to feel to cope with what you was going through?
Because it's the way I was seen. I was seen as like a leader. If I'm breaking down, everyone's gonna break down. So if these guys are looking up to me and stuff, I'm just breaking down, not able to get the job done. The job won't get done.
But can't you look at yourself as a leader in that moment too? If you create a safe space for everybody to grieve how they need to grieve by you showing that, hey, this is okay for us to feel how we feel. Let's have this moment and let's get over this and let's be productive outside of that. You kind of get what I'm saying?
And with me, and like I wanted to do that, but with me personally, I'm just so headstrong where I was letting them feel while I took over with everything. So I was doing a lot of the heavy lifting that day as they was feeling, and let them be to them, not realizing this is affecting me as much as them.
Yeah. Because you tripling your weight at that point. You know what I'm saying? Your loss, you're already feeling that, right? but then you're adding everybody else's feelings on that. You know what I'm saying? Since you're not properly grieving, since you're not saying what it is that you feel and kind of getting that out your system, you kind of adding pressure, you adding that weight on that eventually at some point you're gonna have to let go anyways. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're not, just because you're saving face and being strong in this moment, it don't necessarily take away from the fact that at some point you're gonna have this real moment when you're alone by yourself and really grieve this. You just pushing it off, you kicking the can. You know what I'm saying? When I think that that's more so, the reason why I asked you that is because to me, that's the template for every black man throughout every generation of our lives. Be strong. But why can't I just say that I'm not strong in this moment? And my honesty be my strength in that way? You know what I'm saying? Why can't I say like, hey, this is what I'm feeling, and me be able to properly grieve, you know, and you accept that as being me being strong for me being honest with you versus me being weak for me being honest with you. And I tell you how I feel, and then, you know, we move on past that. You know, I have my proper moment. A lot of times we're not able to actually be who it is that we naturally are as human beings without the projection of being weak. So the automatic thought process is I have to be strong in that moment. You know what I'm saying? When your true strength is, like my man said, you know, me realizing that, you know, it's okay for me to not feel okay in this moment. I'm human. You know what I'm saying? You've earned the right as a human being to be human and to live in that moment. You know what I'm saying? And to ride out whatever that feeling is, whatever that bring to you, whatever thoughts that bring to you, whatever emotions that bring to you, because it's genuine. And you shouldn't be denied that. That was somebody that you cared about. You know what I'm saying? But it's almost an innate thing as black people for us to be like, you can't feel like that right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I never understood that.
Yeah, and then one of the things we robbed of that opportunity to do it, and that's why I've talked about this before. Is I studied one of the social media influencers, his name Jason Wilson, and he actually broke down the word strong analogy. He said the worst thing you could ever do is be strong, because the analogy he did, he said he did a weightlifting analogy. If we go bench press, if we go lift bench, he said if I put this 300 pounds on you and I tell you to hold it, and I tell you to be strong, and if I let you, and I say, you know, go away, and he said, you sit there for 2 days. You can't be strong forever. You know what I'm saying? If you literally have to, if somebody say, are you a man? Don't let this go. If you let this go, you weak. You can't be strong. At some point, you have to release. You know what I'm saying? And when you release, it can be a positive thing, because when you release, now what you do? Hey, yo, I need some help. I need some help. That's why what you you know what I'm saying? You ask somebody to spot you on your left. Ask somebody to spot you on your right. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's so important us having this moment too, even for Keon, like, you know what I'm saying? And even I just want to take this time to also apologize to you, bro, too, because I know you reached out to us that day, me and Chris, you know what I'm saying? But one of the things I didn't realize in my spirit is how much that really affected you losing, you know what I'm saying, our brother, you know, Ant, you know what I'm saying? Because I got a chance to even meet him, and I know that was like a mentee to you, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the things me and Keon pride ourselves on, is not just trying to uplift men of our age and older, but we try to reach back. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just want to say, you know, take a time to, you know, say, you know, rest in peace to our brother Ant that we lost. You know what I'm saying? And I just, it might be funny, but it's literally an ant right here on the ground. But like,
that's on a sign, man.
That's a sign.
That's
like,
a sign. Everything
even
is
on your
sign,
contact,
man.
you have the word ant and you had the ant emoji on your.
sure.
So like,
For
you know what
sure.
I'm saying? Like, God
Everything
is real.
a sign.
Man, I really believe that is, man. So like, and we used to call him John Morant too, because he had the dreads.
like,
You know what I'm
like
saying?
John Morant.
You know, a real good young brother, man, and I feel like I've never lost a little brother before in that way. You know what I'm saying? I pray I never do, but that's why I'm glad that we got to be here for you. You know what I'm saying? Although it's a podcast, it's a moment in a circle. That's why, like, you know, like I keep saying, man, Ron is a therapist for us. You know what I'm saying? Ron is a big brother that really shows that it's okay. So yeah, but like that's the thing too, to the man out there watching this, like, take this moment in as not just an episode or just some views, you know what I'm saying, but take this moment in to see what it look like when you connect with like-minded people, when you connect with people who make it safe for you. You know what I'm saying? Even to all the people behind the cameras, we choose specific people to be in our circle of faith. You know what I'm saying? Because when you got the right people in your circle of faith, you can be open, you can be transparent. transparent. However, if it was a lot of females or a lot of club people who real image conscious in here, we'll feel like, oh no, we can't be emotional. Let's not cry at this moment. You know what I'm saying? So I encourage people out there who watching this, get the right people around you, because they'll show you how important it is to be open. But if you a man, allow yourself to cry around your brothers, you know what I'm saying? Cry around your sisters to see that it's possible, like you said, like, man, I am human for real. Like, a lot of people haven't cried in years. Men haven't cried in years. And then when you allow yourself to be open, people around you will expose themselves, whether it be good or bad. Because then, like I just said, Keon could have had this emotional and vulnerable moment, and then I could be like, all right, bro, you kind of tripping. We filming right now. You know what I'm saying? You like, hold on, what kind of... Or now you just kind of seeing it, or you could see somebody who's like you, empathizing with you to show you like, okay, you know what, you actually going in the right direction. Keep being open in this moment. I'm gonna help you be more open and be more emotional, because emotion is not a bad word.
And I kind of think about it too, like, okay, so you put it off to save face, in whatever situation. It's not like the shit go away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not like you kind of pushing it off, you know what I'm saying, so that somebody else won't see it, or so that you can kind of get whatever you need to get done, you know what I'm saying? But it's not like you're actually releasing it in that moment. The only way you can release it is kind of feel it all the way through, you know what I'm saying, to really kind of experience that moment. Outside of that, you're carrying something that's going to eventually resurface at a different time. And who's to say when that will actually resurface for you? You know what I'm saying? Your feelings about losing a loved one could come to you if you don't have that moment. It could come to you at the worst time possible. You know what I'm saying? You could take it out on somebody else. You could take it out on your girlfriend. You could take it out, on your friendships, or, what have you. You know what I'm saying? It could come out at the wrong time, because it's not going to go away just because you decide not to have it, not to be real with yourself about what you're feeling in that time. You know what I'm saying? The shit's still going to be there. You might as well have your moment.
And that's so important too, man. And that's that was a beautiful transition into our next topic that we wanted to talk about, is vulnerability in relationships as a man. You know what I'm saying? We've that's one of them ones, because we talked about doing it amongst your brothers. Before
we get too deep into it, let me get myself together.
Oh yeah, no, you good, bro.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, and there's some. I think there should be some tissue behind Jay or somewhere we could find. Okay, cool.
Speaking as a fan, if I can do that, even though I'm on stage with y'all for right now.
Yeah.
Speaking as a fan, because I am a fan, goddamn it, first and foremost.
I appreciate that.
I support my little brothers. You know what I'm saying? So, it's dope, seeing y'all be vulnerable. And a lot of times you say, I'm pulling back the curtain, I'm finna expose myself. Those are vulnerable moments that you only know in your quiet time.
Right.
But you're being honest with people. You know what I'm saying? Again, to his point, it take a lot of courage, you know what I'm saying, to be vulnerable and tell people shit about yourself that they don't really know. You could go on like, pretending that, you're all of these things that people love, you know what I'm saying? But it take a lot of courage and all of that to give yourself in a way that some people may not understand or may not even accept. You know what I'm saying? So being vulnerable is a big thing, man. It's a courageous thing.
Man, and I wanna ask you this, Keon. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this a guest transition, but in this moment, Keon, how does it feel to release amongst your brothers?
I feel good. Feel like the weight just not on me.
Yeah.
I've got them spotters.
Yeah,
that you
for
talked
sure.
about.
For sure.
I got them spotters. That's what we're gonna call it.
Yeah.
This is everybody know I could lift crazy amounts of weight. But when I just get the struggling for that last rep,
I got somebody to balance you out. Man.
Yeah, I got my spotters to help me out.
Yeah, man. So I just thank you, bro, for being open in this moment, man. Because I feel like stuff like this, like I said, that's why I prayed on it before. That's why we make it a tradition to pray before every podcast, and always ask God to allow us to be open. Because what a lot of people fail to do when they get on a podcast, you get in political mode, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, guys, today we're going to be talking about how to get right in life. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, you know what I'm saying, you got to get, we have to let go of that and just be vulnerable, you know what I'm saying? Because if Keon would have came here and said, oh, man, we got to guess, I can't I don't want to make it about me. I ain't gonna make it about me. But it's for us. That's why we call it Modern Kings, because we got to do stuff like this together, man. I'm gonna go ahead and transition into this next one, because this next one it's a little bit more serious topic. You know what I mean? But it's also one of them topics that we hear about, the difference between love and lust.
Yikes.
Ron, tell us, man. You know what I'm saying? You're an experienced man. You done had a lot of dating experiences and a lot of dating situations. What has been the your experience with love versus lust?
My experience with love versus lust is, I would say, lust is the most powerful thing. It's the most convenient thing for most people. You know what I'm saying? Because we all act on that impulse. I'm finna hook up with X, Y, and Z, or I just seen you, you know what I'm saying, in the spot and I'm feeling you. I want to meet you, you know, but it take a little more to actually like love somebody. It take a little more work, you know, to understand somebody, you know, to put the time in and actually get to know them and really kind of like really love them. You know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of society right now, dating apps and all of those things is kind of set up on the lust portion of that, the right now portion of that.
Right.
I want to meet you. I want to smash you. You know what I'm saying?
The
when it's
physical
convenient
aspect.
for me, you know what I'm saying? And then you going on about your business. But a lot of times people kind of scared to get to know somebody and do the work of actually, you know, developing a healthy relationship to where you can say you actually love somebody. You know, I can say I've probably experienced more of the lust than I have of the love, because lusting is easy. You know, for you to love me, you actually got to get to know me. You know what I'm saying?
To love me is to know me, like
man,
they
listen.
say.
And in most instances, people don't want to do that work. It's
Right.
easy for me to hook up with you and smash you, and then you going on about your business. And I would even say, I'm not gonna put that off on everybody else. I would say that's been more convenient for me because shit, I don't have to do the work. And so I think that as a society, we kind of rely on that so much because we don't want to do the work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you scared to like actually go deeper and get to these vulnerable moments. You like, man, if I get too close to you, that means I'm actually have to love you,
For
and then
sure.
I'm gonna have to let you
You might
inside
see
of
me
my
vulnerable.
Yeah, and then this is the thing too. You know, a lot of times while we afraid to get into relationships or get in love is because we gotta let somebody in our home, our physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional home.
Yeah, man.
Like, man, you actually, like I said before, you know, I ain't really cleaned up my, you know, my spiritual house. So you know, come back, you know, give me a couple months and let me get my stuff in order
for you.
Yeah, so I feel like that's real important, man, and that's one of the things too to even piggyback off of that. Like, I've experienced a lot of lust myself too.
For sure.
It just,
And that's
you know,
okay.
and that's one of the things that, like to you said, society and the world has programmed us,
For sure.
specifically men, to operate off of lust. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things. Like, that's why I always motivate myself, man, other people to do the social media cleanse and go on a social media fast, because we know that, you know, even how wicked the world is. You know what I'm saying? With all of the pornography and all of the music and the stripper mentality and all of that stuff, the BBLs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a new generation we living in, amen. You know what I'm saying? So it can be very distracting, man. But it's that's why you have to take time to work on your internal. You got to work on yourself, because the enemy or the devil is real active nowadays, and you know that's the biggest tactic that's used against us is sexuality. That's why they push it so much, because they know that if we distracted with lust, we won't be able to find love, and love in the home, you know, like they say, love starts in the home. It's the most powerful thing you can do. And me and Keon talked about that before too. It's like, man, when we don't got a certain kind of love connection with our parents, it's gonna affect how we act in our relationships. But yeah, bro, man, like, what was your experience like so far? You know,
and I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it. I can't stress enough how dope it is to be a part of this moment. You know what I'm saying? And I want y'all to know I respect y'all and I love y'all to death. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not blood, but we couldn't be closer. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, it's a pleasure to be up here with the future kings of the pod, man. It's a pleasure to be a part of y'all moment and to be a part of y'all blessing. And it's not lost on me, man. I just want y'all to know that.
Thank you, man. And we just want to say to people out there, man, if you ain't ever subscribed to a podcast before, if you want to be a part of a podcast, and if you want somewhere to tap in, subscribe to Modern Kings,
Yes,
man.
sir.
You know, as y'all can see that we have real open, vulnerable, transparent conversations as men on how to be better in your life, mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. So these are the type of things that we really want to lock in on and show men how to be better at. So just continue to tap in and comment, you know what I'm saying? What's something else y'all want to hear us talk
Yes,
about?
sir.
You know, and let us know some feedback on this episode. What's some things? Tell us in the comments below how this episode might have changed your life. What's something new that you learned? So, yeah, man.
And before we close out, I want to say shout out to the team.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Modern King
Yes,
podcast
sir.
Team,
Yes, sir.
who
sir.
helped make this happen. Miss J, Leonte, Troy,
Yes, sir.
Nate.
Yes, sir.
Everybody who part of the
Yeah.
journey and part of the team.
Yeah.
We appreciate y'all so much.
Yeah, man.
I love my team. Like Drake said on that Kush roll glass full, I prefer the better things.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? You know, like he said, I'll die for my people. You know what I'm
Listen,
saying? And I feel
yeah.
like, it's not a physical thing, but it's a spiritual thing. You know what I'm saying? So I love my team, and we love y'all, the Modern
sure.
Kings podcast.
sure.
So
Yes,
we
sir.
appreciate y'all for joining this episode. Stay tuned, man. This is the jump off of the the official guest tour.
Can
So
only get better.
we just want to thank you, bro, for coming
Yes,
on
sir.
once again, man.
Yes, sir.
We gonna have you back on here
Oh, for
again,
sure,
man. You know
man.
what I'm
It's
saying?
only the
Looking
beginning.
forward to see how you grow, how we all grow.
Yes, sir.
A year from now, or maybe years from now. So
Yes.
we appreciate that, and we'll see y'all on the next one, man.
Bless the
Let's give it
space.
up, man. Let's give it up. Yes, sir. Yeah. Let's
Yes,
do
sir.
it.
Running out of love. Running out of love. Running out of love to give. Yeah. They know I got it, so they got it too. They say if you don't feed your dogs, then they'll start biting you. I seen them sneak this